This is life. This is sacred. The things that we do, the decisions that we make, and the vision of our founders. My father came to the United States, met my mother.
With just $150 and my grandfather's dream to make a little bit of Mexico back here in San Antonio.
This restaurant was open, 3 tables and a counter. 10 years later, opening their second restaurant. 10 years after that, owning the whole city block. He knew this is something he could really grow and preserve for the city as a whole.
Hospitality is a way of life. It's not just a job.
It's not like coming to work. It's like coming home, man.
Mi tierra means my land. More importantly, it means kind of my home. My name is Cariño Cortez. I'm the 3rd generation from La Familia Cortez restaurant. So we have my grandparents in the middle. They're the 2 largest figures.
Pedro and Cruz, my mother, got together and made a foundation that would be strong and transition into the next generation.
They're the foundation of this restaurant and really what started the impetus for creating this downtown cultural zone.
Working here at Mi Tierra, you feel connected to something bigger than yourself.
It gets into your heart, it really does. And you realize it's been a part of you your whole life.
We have people who worked with us for over 35 years.
We really grew up in the restaurants.
I started working in 1978. I was 10 years old and been doing this ever since.
Some more of our family members, my brother Pete, my cousin Michael.
Getting close to 40 years pretty soon.
47 years.
I'll be here for 36 years. When I come to Mi Tierra, I see the culture, the family, very warm, like my family.
Team members become your brothers and sisters, their stories and your stories, and then we create a bigger story.
The food of Mi Tierra is Tex-Mex. It's not Mexican food, and it's not straight Texas cuisine. It originated out of circumstance, geography, history. It's these specialized dishes and how they got transformed into newer dishes once the Mexican border came down south. Everything's hecho a mano, which means it's made by hand.
We have the same recipes for the past 75 years.
And so it was this little food stall that my grandfather was essentially running. Just 1 counter, 3 tables, and a few seats. This area of town was a farmer's market and a produce terminal of San Antonio. All these trucks would come in with their produce. Started with my grandmother making all of the different stews and dishes and enchiladas in the kitchen. This is one of our original menus. You got our guacamole back then, which looks like it was 60 cents. Our deluxe Mexican dinner, all for $1.50, which is just crazy. Like in traditional Mexican homes, her recipes came from her grandmother and her grandmother and her grandmother. My grandfather has always wanted it to reflect a piece of Mexico and the traditions and the food and the culture. It's like a piece of history to have these recipes that have been down generation after generation. Mariachi music and the Christmas lights and so many people walking around, it feels like home. So by being open 24 hours a day, it was always that spot. I think it really made its way into people's hearts.
The food, the culture, hospitality, the service, the best service.
Caring for people and caring about the food that goes out. You're welcoming someone into your home. Comida, cultura, familia.
You know, we value family. That means their family, our family, and the families who come to visit us every single day.
We come to serve, not to be served.
Where do these foods come from? I knew Tex-Mex cuisine was something that I grew up around. I didn't know where did it come from? How did it get here? What are the influences? Figuring that out was important to me. And that's why I went to culinary school and I decided to work in a number of different kitchens that specialized in interior Mexican food. And going to Mexico numerous times, I realized the spices, the masa, all those different ingredients are the same basis of Tex-Mex cuisine. Coming back to San Antonio, I was presented with a huge opportunity. My family was ready to make our 4th restaurant. They offered me the position to be an opening chef. Viva Villa is this evolution of really where Tex-Mex came from.
Bring in a more authentic Mexican food that some people have not tried is very necessary.
I learned this when I worked in Chicago for Rick Bayless, and these different stews that we have are called guisos, and in Spanish, to guisar means to stew things together, and that's really traditional for Mexico. So you'll see a lot more of the interior Mexican cooking here, and really what we had first before these dishes transformed into Tex-Mex. All of these recipes are pertinent to our family's history, but at the same time, this vision of the future, it's its own identity. The menu is interpreted in a little bit of a different way. San Antonians were ready for that, and that was really exciting to me. In the Mexican culture, really feeding people is a way you can show people that you care and that you want them to feel comfortable. Well, I don't ever want it to be just a restaurant that they come to. I want them to be able to come and get that same hospitality. In the restaurants, we have this saying, and it's called con mucho gusto, with a lot of care, with a lot of love. And we want each of our guests to feel that. Mi casa es su casa is the mentality. It was a huge honor to really come back and be able to work on this with my family, being able to bring in my expertise and things that I've learned and really put my thumbprint on the family legacy was exciting. When we opened up Viva Villa, we wanted to have a restaurant that could really come back to the roots. That's really where we come from. You can't ever forget your culture.
And so this gathering again today, for me, it's a blessing. The restaurant business is like our ministry. How can we help our people to succeed, to do better?
My dad's always been one to say, we need to keep the culture of the city.
Because it's not just serving enchiladas and tacos and tamales. It goes beyond the walls of the restaurant. And that's what our grandfather taught us. We want to continue in his name and in my father and my uncle's names.
We've never really measured success by, the bottom line. Our restaurants are really grounded with the local community. The more that we can continue to serve that community, the better our success will be in the future.
Knowing what my grandfather wanted to accomplish in this area of San Antonio, to keep that legacy going, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into building this place. I don't want anyone to forget the pillars that we were founded on. If you don't know where you came from, then you don't know where you're going.
We continue to be a light for Latinos in America. In Spanish, you say, lo mejor de lo nuestro, the best of us. That's the story of La Familia Cortez.